Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the Knife Center, and it's our favorite time of the week. We're taking a look at the coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves. Let's check them out. All right, first thing this week, we've got an expansion to our 3V exclusives of the Demko AD20.5. 3 new versions just hit. We've got red handled grivery with a black 3V blade and black hardware, excepting of course the liners and the shark lock itself. And you can get this in the shark's foot, modified sheep's foot shape, or the clip point blade. And we've also got clip point and all blacked out hardware, again, except for the lock bar and liner themselves. Very, very cool. These have a black DLC coating, and the price on them, same as the standard stonewashed version, coming in just under $200 for all of these right now. Really, really cool. Just under 3 inches for the shark's foot blade and about 3.2 for the clip point. You get a little extra reach. The shark foot seems to be the popular one these days, however. Now, the shark lock, of course, gives you that finger safe operation and that flickability, as you can see. It's also a very robust lock too. And it's a cool thing to see on a knife that is so slim to carry as the 20.5. They wanted to give you something with this variant that is very easy in the pocket, doesn't take up a lot of bulk out of your daily carry space, but it's still gonna give you something that is quite strong. And really the shark's foot blade itself kind of backs that up a little bit, maybe even more than the clip point, even if I'm partial to the clip point personally myself. Now these knives did just land on filming day this week. We also got some of our titanium models with 3V in as well, but those were moving pretty quickly already as anticipated. If you want to get a better drop on stuff like that, make sure to check out our Instagram profile where you can see stuff like that a little more timely. Didn't want to show it on this video because I'm sure they're all gone by the time we'll be posting this video anyway. But anyway, really cool to see. Next up, and I don't get to say this very often these days on a New Knives of the Week video, we've got a new zero tolerance to show you. Not a new model, but a new variant of the 640, the Emerson collaboration. Really, really cool pattern, and we've not seen too many variants on this so far, and it's going to continue to be the case because this one is extremely limited right now for dealer release. We don't have too many of them, so these probably won't last too long either. But it's a chance to say I've got a new ZT on a New Knives of the Week video. Same general specs as the standard version. We've got a 3 3/4 inch 20 CV blade here, a little bit on the thicker side with a high, kind of 2/3 high flat grind there. Decent slicing, but this thing is about a little bit more about its overall strength and its piercing capabilities first and foremost. You get a little bit of hard use, a little bit of tactical out of that. Titanium frame with carbon fiber onlays. The titanium here is black stonewashed, as you can see, to match that black stonewashed blade. We've got a black and white carbon fiber, as you can see as well, along with the standard 2-position pocket clip. Now, this is a little bit of an unusual bird, both for ZT and Emerson for that matter, because most ZTs, not all certainly, but most are frame lock flippers. We don't have a flipper here, and most Emersons have the Emerson Wave, the fast action pocket deployer. We don't have either of those in this instance, but we do have the signature Emerson thumb disc, which gives you ambidextrous one-handed opening for this blade, but it's living a little bit on its kind of own drumbeat, which is pretty cool to see on a certain respect. If you're looking for that Wave, I'm sorry, it's still a very sweet knife, and like I said, limited, so not gonna stick around too long. All right, next up, we've got 2 knives that KnifeCenter is proud to be amongst the first dealers to kind of be able to be bringing this to a broader audience beyond just Gerber's own direct stuff. And that is the Gerber Sedulo, first and foremost, an American-made Gerber knife, sized and priced right around what you might expect to find something like Benchmade's Griptilian. And this is clearly, in my mind at least, a very firm competitor to that knife. As you can see, we've got a crossbar locking mechanism right there. Gerber calls theirs the pivot lock. You folks know I am a big fan of a crossbar lock. It gives you that finger safe operation and ambidextrous operation as well. And they made sure to keep the whole knife completely ambidextrous with dual thumb studs and that reversible deep carry pocket clip. And it truly does come almost completely deep carry, which is pretty cool. Handle itself, we've got FRN, a few different colors. This is the gray version paired with a stone-washed S30V blade, but you can get a black coating as well, about 3.4 inches long. And to kind of carry that griptilian comparison over, the edges on these Sedulos that I've seen are maybe a little bit thicker, but the geometry with the full flat grind is a little bit slicier too. So you got a little bit of a trade-off there. You can certainly thin that edge out if you wish. I really like that blade geometry overall very much. I also like that the handles are quite neutral and quite applicable to a wide range of hand sizes. My slightly larger than average hands fit on there, no problem. You'll have no problems hanging off the edge if you have bigger hands, and smaller hands, because of this neutral shape as well, gonna have not too much trouble either. Yeah, and depending on the actual shape of your hand, it might even be more comfortable than that other knife as well. Really cool to see these, and I can't wait to see them doing more. The action, this one has needed a little bit of breaking in since we first opened it, but it is getting smoother, definitely. It's right where you want it to be. I'm really enjoying this particular knife. All right, next up, the second American-made Gerber is the Terracraft. Comes in about $220 right now. And styling-wise, it looks a lot like their Scandi Ground Principal knife, which is actually a little bit shorter despite the visual similarities. This knife right here comes in just under 4 inches, and we've got S30V blade steel. Thickness looks about 5/32 of an inch to my eyeball calipers, and you've got that flat saber grind going on and a fairly robust edge, so you can really pound on this if you need to. And a really aggressive stone-washed finish here. Folks know I like that as well. The handles are G10. We've got red liners alongside the Sage G10 in this case, but we've also got a gray G10 handle. I'm not sure what color the liners are on that. And then you've got a series 3, in fact, flared tubes, so you can do some of that quote-unquote survival knife stuff where you might want to lash this to a stick, not to use as a throwing or offensive spear, but if you need to reach something high up to cut it, could be a good usage of that right there. And then, of course, there are some lanyard hold methods involving a middle-mounted lanyard for knife stability in the hand that could be quite useful with this as well. As far as the ergos, it may look a little angular, but I'm actually finding it surprisingly comfortable. Especially for me, I like to choke up just a little bit right behind the edge there if I'm doing some push cuts and feathering, and it fits quite nicely for me. You can choke back a little bit if you need a little more length, and then you've got a nice pinch grip thanks to the taper on the front of those handles as well. Really smartly designed, in fact. Hard to do something that's comfortable as well as visually different like this, so good job there. As far as the sheath goes, it is leather with a standard loop and a retention strap, and interestingly, I'm just seeing this detail right now, we've got a kind of rubber boot around this extra rivet right here. It's kind of a nice touch. It will keep it from kind of scratching up the tang of the knife a little bit when you snap it shut. Pretty cool. One more detail, speaking of that tang, I forgot to mention, we do have a crisp spine on this knife, so you could use it for scraping tasks or striking a fire steel. And you can see the finish that they use running all the way down consistently to the other side and the finger guard right there. Nicely executed for sure. All right, next up we have a new version of CRKT's Homefront flipper, coming in about $99, and this is a non-field strippable version. If you're familiar with this model before, you'll know that it had Ken Onion's mechanism for taking apart this knife without any tools. Well, instead of that, this time they gave this knife their new kind of, I'll say it, industry-leading assisted opening mechanism instead. And the reason I say it's industry-leading is because the way the action is tuned, it's very easy on the one-handed close itself. It almost kind of sucks itself back in. You don't have to fight it as much as some other assisted mechanisms out there, and yet it still gives you that repeatable assisted opening action every time. Blade steel is a nice change of pace from the base models of this knife as well. We've got Sandvik's 12C27, can take a nice fine edge very well, and with this type of grind geometry here, again, slightly thicker, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, let's go to the tape, 0.13. That was very close. And a mid-height saber flat grind there. Gonna be fairly robust because 12C27 is a fairly tough stainless steel. Handles moving back, we've got aluminum, kind of a dark green, a little less bronze than my old school Homefront that I know and love. Still has the same inset liner lock and deep carry pocket clip. Still has the nice lug there for the finger tab that mimics a bayonet lug. Yeah, really cool knife and another cool flavor in this design language. All right, next up we have the return of the Night Elements Kukri folder, the V2 Ultra Kukri. Really, really cool. Coming in price-wise on these, about $295. For that, 4.4-inch blade, N690 CO stainless steel in this case, with a really nice stonewashed finish. Frame lock, titanium, blackened on the back, and on the front we have a few different handle options in Makora, I believe, only. There's a natural, a green, there might have been a black G10 as well, and there's also a natural with an acid wash blade finish as well for another different take on the format. Really cool. You can certainly do a lot of heavy work with a knife like this. Unlike a true Kukri, you're not really going to be going around chopping with this, but you've got a really aggressive cutting profile going on, especially if you do a lot of things with draw cuts, whether you're pulling through cardboard or rope. The recurve and the extra belly down here is going to help you shear through that stuff a little bit better. Or of course, you can just use it EDC to look cool, because it does look pretty darn cool. But it's built to back up the good looks. We've got ball bearings in the pivot, we've got a nice flipping action, and you've got that big fuller in the blade too if you wanted to do some other opening things like the middle finger flick or even slow rolling a thumb open. A lot of cool stuff you can do with these very cool knives. Next, we've got another Night Elements. This one made in the USA, which is pretty cool. Whereas this V2 Kukri is made by Fox in Italy, another cool manufacturer. But this is the OSS Dagger. Several different colors of this. The bronze one looks particularly cool, and these come in about $175 right now. Check out the shimmer in that bronze coating here. It's kind of funny to think about looking at the shimmer on a knife that's typically meant to be carried concealed, either in like a shirt sleeve or even more surreptitious ways, but I like it, so what are you gonna do? The construction here is A2 tool steel, fairly thick piece to get enough girth to hold on to, and this is not a everyday carry slicing utility knife. This is a sharp wedge. Double ground, 3-inch blade, very tough steel, which is going to come in handy when you have something with so fine a point as this, ready to pierce for sure. But you've got a decent amount of grip thanks to the milled circles there, or segments of milled circles there, the nice pinch point there at the front, the big old jimps, we'll call them, on the side of the blade itself. Very, very nice. As far as the sheath, it is Kydex, and you're able to get a full length grip on the knife while it's still in the sheath, so there's no adjustment once it comes out of said sheath. And as far as carry, it does come with the hardware and a single strap with a pull the dot snap, so you could set this up, around a belt horizontally, but the hole patterns here are gonna fit both large and small tech locks if you'd rather carry it in one of those types of fashions. Speaking of aggressive double ground fixed blades, LOTAR Combat. Instantly recognizable, of course. This is it says it right here on the back of the blade, so I don't even have to look at my screen. The OREV Gen 3 Custom Wolf. Two sizes of this knife. The 4-inch version comes in about $321. For not too much more money, $375, you can get this 5 3/4 inch. So a little bit of a jump, but not too much, I would say. CPM D2 blade steel, not your run-of-the-mill D2. That is the powder metal version of that steel. So you get the same kind of edge retention, but you've got something that is significantly tougher than your base D2. Really important on a heavier fixed blade like this. Now, the word OREV in Hebrew means raven, and this is an designed in partnership with an Israeli Defense Force veteran, Mike Lee Kanarak. Very well-regarded man in that arena and very purpose-driven for the types of combat they're going to be doing out there. It is double ground and double edged. You've got kind of a traditional shape on the one side, and the back you've got a long straight edge and some partial serrations there at the back. So you've got a lot of different cutting surfaces, cutting interfaces, if you will, right there. And the G10 handles are designed to keep your hands locked in, as I understand it, in both forward and reverse grips. It's a very aggressive guard there at the back, or beak, I should say, with some nice traction there at the bottom. Big jimping, you might be able to use some hammering and stuff like that. Really impressive, these things, and very clearly shows to me that I don't know what I'm doing with a knife like this, but I can tell you how they're built, and they are built quite well. Everything on here is machined excellently. The fit and finish is great. The sheath is well done. Let me make sure I'm sticking this in the right way. Clicks in very positively. I like the green counterpoint on this Kydex to the Coyote Brown G10 handles here. And then you've got the dots style Tech-Lock hole patterned belt attachment on the back. So you can carry it like so, vertical, up or down. You can carry it horizontal as well. Strap it to your pack, strap it to your belt, and away you go. Next up, another LOTAR. This is the KHARMA Gen 2. Coming in at $475 for this 3V version, but you can also get for the same price a CPM D2 version. Really cool to see both of these steel selections on karambits. You don't see them too often on the production sphere, especially CPM D2, but you know, the prices certainly support that. So this knife was designed with a different IDF Special Forces vet, Imre Morgenstern. Let me make sure I get this right. Known for his distinguished expertise in karambit style fighting, and founder of the Prime Combat Training and senior team member in the Tactical Rifleman Company. Certainly got some bona fides there. This knife is also double-edged. We've got about a 4-inch blade, wicked recurve, very sharp, sharpened spine on the back side of that point, and some sharpened fins, essentially. They call this the Ripsaw Shark Fin Spine. Or at least that's what we say on our website right now. More aggression right there. The handles are aluminum, it feels like. Let me check. Yes, milled aluminum attached to the skeletonized frame. Gives you a little bit of extra thickness to hold on to. I'd say it feels pretty locked in. Doesn't feel that uncomfortable. Probably be wearing gloves if I was using this tactically anyway. And the ring itself, nice and milled over on the inside, or nice and rounded over on the inside, so it's very comfortable there. And a lot of different indexing points on the outside of that ring. Sheath on this knife is also Kydex. Nice snap to it. Works with that Tech-Lock style of sheath. This would be, let me unlock it. There we go. It's the advantage of these, of course. And this is the dots style clip that is compatible with that hole pattern, and it also comes with essentially, we'll call it a Kydex J-hook right there that you can use if you want to carry this inside a waistband. You'd be able to slip that in, and this could hook around your belt on the outside to keep things in place until, I'm always scared pulling double-edged things out of Kydex sheaths. Pardon me, guys. We're all good. But you'll keep it right in position until you're ready to go. All right, next up we have a Marfione custom Makora. Very expensive knife, $2,075 for this custom level OTF. We have Vegas Forge Vines Vines and Roses Damascus, double ground, and what's that, double hollow ground too. That's very cool. And very thin, very sharp edges to boot. Moving back, the handle is of course aluminum, and we've got Stingray inlays on both sides. Gives this just such a cool look, especially when set off with kind of the bronzed looking accents of the hardware. All the pocket clip screws and slider all have that look. Very cool. Satisfying action. I love the kind of small pebbly texture that Stingray gives it. It's just a super high styling piece, super precise. It is a Marfione custom after all. This is one of those ones, I don't know what more to say about it. If you know, you know, and if it's too expensive for you,
I understand.
I understand as well, but man. How many trucks of yours is this, Thomas?
1 and change.
1 and change, yeah. Very, very cool. Next knife I think is very cool too. Has a bit of the same vibe actually. Hear me out. Don't attack me for this. Not to the same ornate levels as this Marfione, but there's something about this James brand Duval that kind of fits in the same scenarios, I would say. 300 bucks, still not a cheap knife. 2.6-inch blade, S35 VN steel. You've got your modified, it's barely even modified. We'll call that the sheep's foot blade right there. High flat grind, aggressive little cutter, fairly safe tip in this case, but you can certainly still pierce with it by going in at just the right angle. As far as the mechanism, I'm gonna go ahead and call this a frame lock, even though you've got big G10 inlays or onlays on each side of it. That's substantial enough and comes out towards the end enough where I think structurally we should call that a frame lock. Folds up very neatly, cool top flipper, kind of squared off tab, so you can flip it normally with your index finger, or you can do that front flicky, lighter flick type of thing. Very, very nice and very well put together. Last but not least, we have a limited edition Fallkniven, and this is one where the blade shape probably doesn't appeal to most people, but there's something about it I really enjoy. This is the HK9 Hunter's Knife. This edition here comes in just shy of $2,000, which, again, Thomas, okay, here's the trick. This will place us in time a little bit. You've got your truck. To get up to $2,000, how many tanks of gas can you get in your truck with that?
About 2.
About 2?
Well, 2 trips to the gas station. The truck does have 2 tanks.
It's hard times to be Thomas the truck driver over there. This is such a cool knife. The blade here is a Kukri X Damascus. So you've got Damascus outer layers that are very subtle. It might even be hard to pick up on camera how subtle they are, but it's a really cool look. You can actually see it a little bit better from the spine of the knife, where you can see that Kukri X core in between the 2 laminated layers. You can see that differentiation a little bit. Kukri X is a powder metallurgy steel, maybe kind of similar to ZDP 189. The full specs, I think, are actually pretty closely guarded at this point, but in terms of performance, decent toughness at least, if not more than decent toughness, and very high edge retention to boot. And being a Fallkniven fixed blade, you're gonna get that full convex grind right down to 0. No secondary bevel right there. That is gonna be oh so satisfying to cut with, especially those long slices, especially with a blade shape like this. It's just, I can feel it right now, even though I'm not actually cutting anything. I'm in my happy place. Handles are ivory micarta. It's a paper micarta material, very smooth. You can see a little bit of the grain on the back side there. Very attractive and subtle pin pattern, and of course the Fallkniven shield there on the front. Guard, very comfortable. Oh, works so well. Interesting spine treatment too. It's a little flatter here at the back and gets a little more crowned out towards the tip, but a very high finish nonetheless. Oh, I like it. I like it very much. Sheath is black leather, simple pouch style, holds it quite nicely. And then there's it's buried, but we've got a presentation box that it comes with as well. Oh, Thomas knocked that on the floor, not me, let the record show. Very nice, sort of cloth-lined box as well. I like it. I like it very much. It's expensive, but I like it very much. But that's all we have time for today. Make sure to let me know what you thought down in the comments, and to get your hands on these knives, links in the description to take you over to KnifeCenter.com. And don't forget about our Knife Rewards program either, because if you're gonna put your money down on one of these knives today, might as well earn some free money to spend on your next one. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera. We're signing off. See you next time.